Shalom, shalom. Brother Carl back with another video. And Lord, willing this video be edifying through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Shah. We're gonna kick it out giving all praises. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakak Kwarash, and double honor to the elders and apostles of great millstone, man, for teaching, preaching us the truth, and those that rule well. And salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad, making the calling election sure, man. Shalom. But just a quick little lesson, man. Like I say, Lord, wouldn't this be edifying? Just a quick little lesson. Does the Bible mention captivity? Does the Bible mention slavery, man? Because these are questions that our people, they ask and don't know, And so I thought I would just touch on this, man, for the people, that either don't know or the ones, willing to learn, For those that seek, this knowledge, man, just a little more in depth. And just a little bit, just a little breakdown on does the Bible mention captivity and slavery? I mean, because, for the brothers that's in the truth and those, those aware, those that know, we understand that the Bible mentions captivity, us going to captivity, us being in captivity, and just future prophecy dealing with captivity and slavery, man. But we'll just get right into it, man. And I'm kicking off with the book of Exodus 1, chapter 1, verse 10. So it's the book of Exodus, chapter 1, and verse 10, it reads, it says, "Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass, when they fall out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land." And just for those that don't know, this is the Egyptians, man. One of the ruler of Egyptians. I think this Pharaoh, one of Pharaoh kings, man. Because it was many kings in Egypt. And it was like it reads, just a little history. We was already in Egypt. Joseph was already in Egypt, and when Joseph passed, the rest of the brothers went to Egypt, man. After Joseph passed, we went into Egypt, and so there in Egypt we dwelt, and then it's telling you after Joseph passed, that's when a king raised up that they knew Joseph, when he seen us being, that multiple, that a lot of people, being a strong nation that we were at the time, they seen, hey, it's a lot of these, so-called, I don't want to say niggas, but it's a lot of so-called, it's a lot of Israelites. They like, man, it's a lot of Israelites, it's a lot of them, man. It's a great people, So in verse 10, he's telling you, it says, "Come and let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and they come to pass, that when they're followed by any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them out of the land." So they worried about if a war come upon them, upon Egypt. And they worried about us, joining into their enemies and overtaking them, man, because they see how strong of a people we are, So verse 11, getting to the point, it says, "Therefore did they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities." In the cities, it says, Pithom and Ra'amzes, Lord, when I'm pronouncing it right, but it says they said taskmasters over us, man, just like an overseer, just like an overseer with us being in captivity under so-called Esau. Well, not Esau, but not so-called Esau, but the so-called white man under Esau. Just like how they said overseers over us, the Egyptians know what they did. They said taskmasters over us, where it says to afflict them with burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses, man. So just like so-called white man said over us, man, overseers to build up his economy, build up his nation, build up America, and pick cotton, do all these different things, and and build the railroad tracks, and and all kind of madness that we had to do in our captivity. The same way it was in Egypt, man. So it tell you, continuing on verse 12, and it says, "But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel," man. So the more they afflicted us, the more we multiplied and grew, man. The Lord made more of us, man, through the Spirit, how about Shemi Shai, and He grieved them because of this, man. And it's funny, now that I'm thinking about it, it's the same thing. That's why the most I tell you, man, it's nothing new under the sun. Because the same way it's happening in Egypt, the same way it was going about, when we was under the captivity of a so-called white man under Esau, man. The same way they was afflicting us, and the more they afflicted us and put us through harsh punishments, and kicked our people, and hung us and cut off the heads of our people, because we learned this history, man, and back in history and social studies, man, in school under the white man system, sometimes they would hang us out and about, for everybody to see, or they would cut our head off, or cut body parts of us off and leave us out there, for everybody to see, man. Leave us at the top of the street, man. Leave us at, leave us up there just for everybody to see, man. Towns and cities, or on the plantation, you know. In the same way they did that, hey, the more we grew, man, because, you know, because ultimately they wanted us to come to an extinction, man. They wanted to be no more Israel, as I tell you in the book of Psalms, man. It said, hey, let us deal with them wisely. Same way. Let's grab it real quick, matter of fact. So I won't paraphrase. Be no more in remembrance. Let's grab it. So like it. Let me grab this real quick for edification. Cause they, you know, like I'm saying, like I was just saying, they want us to come to an extinct, man. They want us to, you know, no longer be a nation, man. You know. But this is Psalms 83:4. It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. So like I was saying, man, they didn't want us to be a nation no more. It says what? That the name of Israel be no more in remembrance, man. So they didn't even want the name of Israel to be remembrance, man. You know, we'll get into it later, man. That's why they put, you know, all these bywords and different names on us, calling us niggas, you know, spits, wetbacks, you know, calling the other Gad Indians, so-called, you know, calling the so-called Ephraim and Alaska Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, you know, calling us black, you know, us from Judah calling us black, you know, African Americans, Negroes, Afro Americans, you know, all these different names, man. But just back to the point at hand. What were we? Verse 13. Continuing on to verse 13, I'll read 12 again. Verse 12, it says, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and that they were grieved, because of the children of Israel. Verse 13, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and brick, and in all manner of service in the field, and in all service where they were made to serve was with rigor, man. You know, so this was hard bondage, man. Like I tell you, it said they made our lives bitter, man, with hard bondage, man. It says in mortar and brick, you know, so we had to build. And it says in all manner of service in the field, you know, so we was working in the fields also, man. Like I say, ain't nothing new up on the sun. We was working in the fields also under the Egyptians. And it says in all their service wherein they made them serve was rigor, man. We'll get the definition of rigor real quick, real fast. And this is the definition of rigor. It says the quality of being extremely thorough. And two more definitions. It says the severity of strictness. So that they were serving us, you know, we was being served under strictness, man. They was being strict on us. And another definition it gives you says demanding, difficult, or extreme definition, or extreme conditions. So like extreme conditions. So our captivity, you know, the punishment was under. It was demanding. It was difficult and under extreme conditions, man. You know, that's what it's giving you for that word rigor. So, you know, like it's telling you, all the service we were made to serve, it was with rigor, man. It was under extreme conditions, man. It was demanding. It was difficult. So like it. And just to read 13 again and continue on, it says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. Verse 14, so like it. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they were made to serve was with rigor. And the king of the Egyptians spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Sapphira, you know, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of the midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live. You know, because it got so to the point where, you know, the state of the captivity was so, you know, hard and harsh on us. You know, Pharaoh started to kill all the firstborn of the sons, man. Well, he said, if it be a daughter, hey, she shall live, man. So that's how harsh it got, man. You know, that's how, you know, strict the you know, captivity was upon us, man. You know, they're making us already serve and do everything in the field, building up the you know, these different cities, you know, and treasures, you know, for the king of Pharaoh, you know, and building up the the pyramids, man. You know, the pyramids in Egypt, man, we built those, man, you know. So we had to serve a rigor captivity, man, under the captive for the Egyptians, man. And this is one of the first captivity, you know, that's listed in the Bible that we were under, man. But we'll jump to Exodus 2:20. Because not only were we in captivity in Egypt, Egypt is just really another word for slavery, man. And we'll prove that real quick. This is the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 2. It says, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, man. So that word Egypt, that's another word for bondage, man. It says out of the house of bondage, man. And let's get that, we'll get a definition of bondage real fast. It says bondage, the state of being a slave, So we were slaves, man. Just that simple. I can tell you, man, the state of being a slave, we was in bondage. And just to read it again, Exodus 20:2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, man. So it's telling you the land of Egypt was what? The house of bondage, man. Because it's going to let it tell you, how the Lord, we're going to get into this future prophecy real quick, real soon, how the Lord going to tell you how he shall send you into Egypt again, man. And that Egypt he talking about is what? The house of bondage. Because as we read now in Exodus, we was already in Egypt, man. But we'll get to that, man. And we'll go to the, matter of fact, let's grab this. 2 Esdras 1:7. So like I got to get it on my phone. I'm going to have to buy me another Apocrypha, man. I don't know. I left it in my brother's car and I ain't seen it ever since, man. But this is the book of 2 Esdras chapter 1. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just start at 7. It says, Am not I even he that brought them out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage? But they have provoked me unto wrath and despised my counsels, man. So the Lord telling you, he says, am I not he even that brought them out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage? It's telling you the house of Egypt was what? The land of bondage, man. The house of bondage. It says, but they have provoked me unto wrath and despised my counsels, man. Because even all the times, we were in captivity, and even in captivity to this day, our people, they still despise the Lord's counsel, man. They still don't want to hearken to come back to the Lord. That's one of the reasons why we in the conditions we in today as a people, man. In today's society, just like beforehand, ain't nothing new under the sun, man. But we'll jump to Deuteronomy real quick. To the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26 and verse 6. And this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 26 and verse 6. It says, and the Egyptians evil entreated us and afflicted us and laid upon us hard bondage. And so it's telling you right here, man, in Deuteronomy, what the Egyptians did. They laid upon us what? Shalakia 6, yeah. It says they evil entreated us and afflicted us and laid upon us what? Hard bondage, man. So we was under the Egyptians hard bondage, man. They even treated us going into, them saying, hey, let's deal with them wisely, man. They dealt with us wisely, man, because they knew we were wise and strong people, So they had to put taskmasters over us. They had to put us in check, man. But ultimately, that was the doing of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, man. For a life lesson, man. Just like it is now, us being in the conditions that we are in now, under the rulership of Esau, man, in his kingdom. And we in these conditions walking through the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua for a correction, man, for a reproof of our people. But our people still don't want to be corrected. Our people still don't want to be reproved by the Lord, man. But we'll just jump back into Exodus, chapter 6 and verse 6, man. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 6 and verse 6. Wherefore saying to the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out of the burdens, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you out of their bondage, and I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with great judgment. So the Lord telling us right here, and he gonna bring us from out of the burdens of the Egyptians, man. And he gonna rid us out of the bondage that we were in. He said, and I will redeem you with a stretched out arm and with great judgment. So the Lord gonna bring great judgment, man. To bring us out of this captivity that we were in Egyptians, the same way he gonna do now, that we've been in the captivity under Esau Edom, man, in the land of Babylon the Great, man. He gonna bring great judgments to come to pass, to redeem us, man. But continuing on, verse 7, and it says, and I will take you to me. It says, and I will take you to me for a people, and I will be to you a God, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God, which bringeth you from under the burdens of the Egyptians, So he gonna bring us near to him, man, to be a people, and he gonna be our God, man. And it says, continuing on, verse 8, and I will bring you into the land concerning Yeah, verse 8, so like it. And I will bring you into the land concerning which I did swear to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, and I will give it to you for an inheritance. I am the Lord. And Moses spake so unto the children of Israel, but they hearkened not unto Moses for anguish of spirit and for cruel bondage. So that they ain't even hearkening to Moses, man. But the Lord telling them, man, I'm gonna bring you out of this captivity, man, out of this hard bondage that you in, man, and with great judgments, man, so that you will know that I am the Lord your God, man, and that way the Egyptians will know, man, this is how Hashem Yahushua doing this, man. The same way he did now, the same way he gonna do, the same way he did then, the same way he gonna do now, man. But we'll just continue on. We'll jump back into the book of Deuteronomy 5 and 6. And it's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5 and verse 6. And it reads, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, And it's really just saying the same thing, man. Same thing it's telling you, man. Hey, and that's how you know that the house of Egypt, that word Egypt meaning what? The house of bondage, man. Because the Lord, he did what? He brought us out of Egypt, man, out of the house of bondage, man. Just like he told you he would in Exodus 6 and 6, man. We'll get to this future prophecy real quick, And that was really just the point to prove, how captivity is spoken about in the Bible. And that's one of the first captivities that we were in, man, under the Egyptians, man. Even though we done served many captivities, man, this is the 7th captivity we've been in, man. We've been in the captivity under the Egyptians, under the Babylonians, under the Babylonians back in. We under the same captivity now under the Babylonians. That's why this place called Babylon the Great, man. But we was under captivity under the Egyptians, under the Babylonians, under the Assyrians, and many more captivities, man. I know this is our 7th captivity. But just getting back to the point at hand, man. This Deuteronomy chapter 28, and we'll read verse 68. Just get right to the point. And this is verse 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into the Egypt. I'm reading again from the top, so like it. Verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way thereof I speak unto thee. So the Lord telling you, he said, I will bring thee into Egypt again. But this time he said with ships, man. And if you just left out of Egypt in Exodus, what Egypt is he talking about, man? Because the Lord not gonna bring us back into Egypt if he just literally just brought us out of Egypt, through the Red Sea. He just had Moses part the Red Sea and brought us out of Egypt, man, with that great deliverance, man. So this time he telling you, he said, the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. What's that Egypt? Like it told you in Exodus 20 and 2, and just like it told you in Deuteronomy 5 and 6. That Egypt is what? The house of bondage, That Egypt is bondage, it's slavery. So he said, verse 60 again, and the Lord shall bring thee into slavery. Egypt, meaning slavery, meaning bondage. He said, again, with ships. So this time, us going to captivity, how we going to go into captivity? With ships, man. And how we get over here to this land, to so-called America, man, Babylon the Great. With ships, he says, by the word thereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and ye shall be sold unto your enemies for buying man and buying women, and no man shall buy you, man. So this time, the Lord said we was going to go into captivity on ships, man, and to our enemies for buying women and buying men, that no man shall buy us, man, because what? No man never bought us out of this captivity that we in now under the Babylonians, man, under the so-called Americans, man, so-called Esau Edom, man, well, so-called white man, under Esau Edom. Nobody's bought us out of this captivity. We still here. And we'll jump to, we're going to stay in Deuteronomy, same chapter. We're just going to jump to verse 36, man, just to get some more context on it. But this Deuteronomy 28 and 36, the Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation whether neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone. So the Most High said he shall bring thee and thy king which thou set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, man. So the Lord set a nation over us, man. And what is that nation? Esau Edom. What? Neither thou our fathers, neither us nor our fathers have known. And what we doing here? He said we shall serve other gods, wood and stone, man. And what our people doing? Serving wood and stone, serving that wood, that cross, man. Serving that stone, that Mecca, that Islam, man. That's Christianity. Serving all these different doctrines and philosophies, man. These ways of the world, our people in all kind of different religions and different beliefs, man. You got people in Ifa, Muslim, people on different type of Christians, man. You got Baptists, Seventh-day Adventists. You got, Catholics. And it's all kind of madness, man, out here for you to believe in and indulge in, man. Instead of indulging in the truth, man, in the true Lord, in His word, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. But just continuing on, verse 37. Yeah, verse 37, it says, "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, which the Lord shall lend thee." So, like I was going to turn earlier, man, with like this, this part of the curses, that we sit under, because the Lord told us what we shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. And like I told you earlier, those proverbs and bywords, and niggas, spits, wetbacks, so-called African Americans, so-called Mexicans, so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Indians, so-called Dominicans, so-called it's different names they don't put on us. It's many names, man. They've titled us all kind of things, but the names which the Lord called us, man. And we'll jump with that. We'll just jump to 41. This is verse 41, same chapter 28, verse 41. It says, "And thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity," man. So us begetting sons and daughters, what the Lord said, and we shouldn't enjoy them. Why? Because we shall go into captivity, man. And when we was brought into captivity, we couldn't enjoy our sons and daughters. Why? Because they was sold. They was put on auction blocks and sold, man. Until the white man. White man sent them to another white man. Or white man, sending your daughter far off to a different country, man, splitting up the family, man. Or he'll send the son somewhere else, like I say, splitting up the family, man. Or he'll take the daddy and sell him. Or he'll take, they always keep the woman because they want the woman, to raise the children, But, we'll jump to Joel 3:3, Cause like I'll tell you, man, like the scripture just told you, and we was going to go into captivity, and the Lord said we was going to go into captivity, and we did, man. Like He said, we was going to go into captivity for buying women and buying men, and that no man shall buy us, and that we shall be sold to our enemies, man. And what our enemies do, that they sold us, man. They put us in captivity. They put us on slave ships. Like the Lord told us, we shall go into captivity again by ship. They put us on ships, and they sold us, man. When they got here, they sold us. They sold our women. They sold our children, man, That's why I said we shall beget sons and daughters, but we shouldn't enjoy them. So this is I'm in Joel. We're gonna go to the book of Joel. So this is just proof that the Bible or the Lord, you can say, because people want to say that the Lord has nothing to do with slavery. The Lord won't send nobody into captivity. The Lord won't, if there is a God while we were in slavery. But the Lord is us in slavery, man, because of our rebelliousness, man. For us being, a stiff-necked people, for not listening to the commandments of the Lord, man. For not obeying His word, His statutes, and commandments, man. Or just like He told Moses, and just like the scripture said, we didn't want to hearken to Moses. And just like Moses told us, He said, man, I set before thee life and death, man. And we chose death ultimately, man. So that's why we in the condition that we in today, man. So, this is the book of Joel, chapter 3. And I'm going to just start at 3, get to the point. And I'm going to read down a little bit, 3-8. So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 3. "And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they may drink," man. So they, like the scriptures just told you in Deuteronomy, we was going to have children, but we weren't going to be able to enjoy them. Why? For they shall go into captivity. And like I'm telling you here in Joel 3:3, what they did, they cast lots for my people and have given a boy for a harlot. So they sold a boy for a harlot, man. They sold a boy so they can get a hoe. And ultimately, they made our women harlots back in the day, man. And it says, and sold a girl for wine, so they sold our girls, man, our little girls, our children, for wine, that they may drink, man. In verse 4, it says, "Yea, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon?" Speaking of the so-called Hamites. It says, "In all the coast of the Palestine, will ye render me a recompense? If you recompense me swiftly and speedily, I return your recompense upon your own head, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things," which is speaking of the children of Israel, man. We that silver, we that gold, man. We the goodly and pleasant things unto the Lord, man. He talking about his people, man. He's not talking about his actual gold and the goodly pleasant thing. He's talking about his people. And it's finna tell you, because verse 6, it says, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold into the Grecians, you know, because that's a misconception that the people have, that Africans sold Africans into captivity. You know, Africans sold Israelites into slavery, man. Africans, you know, joined over with the so-called white man, like it's telling you, they sold us into the Grecians, man, the Greeks. And who are the Greeks, man? The so-called white man, Esau, Edom. So it's, again, it says the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye may remove them far from their border. So they removed us far from our border, from the places where, you know, where we were originally at, man, which is Jerusalem, Israel, and that west coast of Africa, because, you know, all that's really right us together. You know, that's why we fled to Africa, you know, during the persecution of 70 AD or the Romans, man, so we can have somewhere to blend in with the people, man. You know, but what ended up happening, and what the Lord had happened, you know, he had the Africans join hand with these Grecians, man, with the so-called white man, and help set us into captivity, man. You know, like he told you, that they have sold Jerusalem and Judah, and the children of Judah and Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that you may remove them far from their border, man. So we were sold, man. And that's what the Lord getting into, you know. But the same way we were sold by these different nations, man, these different captivities, you know, the same recompense will come upon these own nations, man. You know, the same way that we was in captivity, the same way we in captivity now, you know, subject to payments under hard rulership and under hard bondage, man. The same way that these other nations are going to be in hard bondage when their time comes, you know, for to serve us in the Lord. But we'll just jump to the book of Obadiah real quick. Lucky. This is the book of Obadiah 438. Right here. Oh damn, I'm looking right over it. It's like I'm looking right over. This is the book of Obadiah 1-18. Yeah, I started at 18. Let's see. Yeah, I started at 18. This is the book of 1 of Obadiah. So like this is the book of Obadiah 1-18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle them and devour them, man. So the house of Esau gonna be for stubble, man. Why? Because like I've been telling you, man, Esau, Edom is one of the nations that brought us into captivity, that the Lord used, you know, to have us in captivity. It says, for stubble, and they shall kindle them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it, man. Verse 19, this is the point I want to get at. And they of the south shall possess the mount of Esau. So they of the south, speaking of the children of Israel, it says shall possess the mount of Esau. And they of the plain, the Philistines, so the Philistines also, and they shall possess the fields of Ephraim and the fields of Samaria, and Benjamin shall possess Gilead. I guess I'm pronouncing that right, Lord willing. Verse 20, and the captivity of the host of the children of Israel shall possess that of the Canaanites, even unto Zarephath. And the captivity of Jerusalem, which is in Sepharad, shall possess the cities of the south. And Savior shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's, man. So on that day when the kingdom shall be the Lord, and we shall be back in rulership, and we're going to possess these heathens, man. We're going to possess Esau, the Canaanites, you know, all these different nations, man, Ammon, you know, Moab, all these different nations, they're going to go back into captivity, man, for the captivity of us, man, for us being in captivity and the hard rulership that we being in. And even if they didn't, and even some of these nations didn't take us into captivity, they joined hands with the other nations and helped make our bondage harder, man. You know, they joined hands with the so-called white man, or they joined hands with Esau and made our bondage harder, man. You know, they came in and they got gain off us. They got gain off us. You know, like these different nations like Ishmael, Moab, and Ammon. You know, all these different nations like the Canaanites. All these different nations, they joined in with Esau and got gain off our captivity, man. You know, and we'll jump to the book of Revelation 13 and 10. You know, because this is proof. Just getting into, like I say from the title, does the Bible mention captivity, man? We're just getting into it, you know, showing you how the Bible mentions captivity, man. You know, but this Revelation 13 and 10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So the Most High telling you, man, hey, anybody that leadeth in captivity, they shall go into captivity. You know, the Egyptians done led us to captivity. So-called Esau, the white man, the Assyrians, all these different nations, man, you know, or they'll join hands, or like the Canaanites, you know, or the Hamites, you know, the so-called Africans. Everybody have a joint hand and with our captivity to get gain off of it or help lead us in captivity. And what the Lord say in verse 10, he that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And the Lord tell you, it's the patience and the faith of the saints, because this is what the saints, you know, that they patiently waiting on for these other nations to go back into captivity. And that's where they faith is, man. You know, so that they can get back into that you know, that rulership under Yahweh Shah in the kingdom, you know, and rule all these different nations like it's supposed to in righteousness, man. But we'll jump to we'll stay in the Revelations. We'll jump to 2 and verse 26. You know, and this our red letter, man. So this is Yahweh Shah speaking himself. This Revelations 2 and 26. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end. So you got to overcome and keep the works of the Lord until the end. He says, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And it says, with a rod of iron, as the vessels of the potter shall they be broken to shivers, as I received of my Father, man. So the Lord telling you, man, he that overcometh and keepeth his works until the end, man, you know. And it says what? He gonna give power over the nations, man, their rulership. And like it's telling you in verse 27, he shall rule them with a rod of iron, man. So the same way we was under hard bondage, man, they ruled over us hardly, man, in that yoke of bondage, and we're going to rule over them with a rod of iron. And as the vessels of potter shall they be broken to shivers, man, as I received of my Father, man. So we're going to rule over the other nations, man, a harsh punishment, man, you know. But this Psalms 2 and 8, man, it's only right, because the same way they did to us, the same way they gotta get it back, man. This Psalms 2 and I'm gonna start at 8. Psalms 2 and 8. Psalms 2 and 8. Salaki real quick. Salaki. My mama keep texting me, man. But like I say, man, Salaki about it. It's the Psalms chapter 2 and verse 8. And the Lord says, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. So the Lord tells you, he shall give us the heathen for thy inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession, for us to possess these things. Verse 9, he says, and thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel. So the Lord telling you, man, again, hey, we're going to rule over these heathen, man, with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash them into pieces like a potter's vessel, man. You know, the Lord telling you, man, hey, we're going to rule over these heathen, man. He said, ask of the heathen, man, you know, doing his work. He said, ask of me, and I shall give thee for thy inheritance, man. He's going to give us the heathen for an inheritance, man, for us to have, man. And let's grab this real quick, because like I said, man, ain't nothing new on the earth. The same things that come to pass, he requires, man. Like the scripture told you, Revelation 13 and 10, you know, he that leadeth captivity shall go into captivity, man. You know, and the Most High, we know that the Most High is a just God, man. It would only be right, you know, for the Lord to bring these other nations back into captivity and to serve under our rulership, the same way we had to serve under their rulership, you know, and bow down to the ways of their society and the ways that they rule, man. It only be right, man. The Lord tell you in Proverbs, hey, he's a just balance. You know, the Lord deals with just balance. He says that unjust balance is an abomination unto the Lord. So that would be unjust, man. It wouldn't be balanced, man. You know. But this book of Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, that the thing that have been, it is that which shall be. and that what is done, that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So that thing which have been is that which shall be, So they had us in captivity, and we're going to have them in captivity. That's that thing that shall be. He says, and which is done, that which shall be done. So that which is done, it's the same thing that's going to be done, man. Back into these people, to these heathen, man. But we'll jump to the book of, we'll stay in the book of Psalms, actually. And we'll go to 149 and get verse 6. So it's the book of Psalms 149 and verse 6. Let the high praise of the Most High be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon the judgment written, this honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. So he tell you, man, for us to what? To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment of the people, man. So that's going to be their punishment going into slavery, man. Executing their vengeance upon them. He says to bind their what? To kings, to bind their kings with chains. So their kings and their nobles with fetters of iron, man. They're going to go into captivity, The so-called great rulers and kings of Esau and the different kings and rulers of the world, that oppressed us. The same way they brought our great men into captivity. Like the Lord told us, hey, we are kings and priests upon the earth. It's like they brought us into captivity, hey, they're going to be brought into captivity. And like it says in verse 9, to execute upon them the judgment written. This is written before time, man. So this really already done, man. The Lord have already spoken this. It says to execute the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord, man. It's like it told you in Revelation 13:10. This is the patience and the faith of the saints. So this honor have all his saints, man. But we'll go to the book of Jeremiah, man. Because the same way they had us in derision and in captivity, the same way they're going to be, man. They serve the Lord, Jeremiah 30 and 16. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30 and 16. Therefore all that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So the Lord told me, man, all that devour thee, man, all of that help, even if you didn't bring us to captivity, you helped devour us, man. Like I said, you had your hand in the pot, man, whenever we was under trouble, whenever we was under our oppression. Verse 16, like I tell you, says, all that they have devoured thee, thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So all that preyed upon thee, the Lord said he going to give us them for a prey, man, And verse 17, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because thou called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after, man. So they called us, they were saying, what's the outcast? This is who no man seeketh after. Just like it told you in Deuteronomy, that no man shall buy us out of this captivity. So to them, it seemed like we left here, man. We left here for that spoil. We left here as an outcast, like, to these different nations and the so-called white man, especially, they looking like, hey, where's your God, man? Where's your power? Where is he that's going to save you out of my hand, man, But little do they know, man, the Lord coming, man. The Lord Yahweh Shai has a set time, so he gonna come and bring judgment upon these heathens upon the earth, man, and set us back into that rulership. And the Lord wouldn't be a part of that number, but hey, that's what the Lord got planned, man. Because like I told you, man, the same way they was in captivity, the same way they had us in captivity, it's like the same way they're going to captivity, the same way they're gonna be oppressed, the same way they're gonna be up under our feet, man. But yeah, that's all on that, and we'll jump to Isaiah. Isaiah 14 and 1. We'll read down to 3. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. So after all this, man, after all these captivities, after all this oppression, and after everything we've done been through, man, under this hard bondage that we've been had to serve, for I will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel, and will set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And so all the strangers, the other heathen, it says what? They're going to be joined with us, and they shall cleave to us, man, the house of Jacob, which is Israel. Verse 2, it says, and the people shall take them. So hey, we're going to take them, man. How they took us? The same way we're going to take them. It says, and shall take them and bring them to that place. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land, and the Lord of the Lord, we shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and for handmaids. So we're going to possess these heathen men for what? For servants and for handmaids. The same way that they possessed us for buying women and buying men, we're going to possess them for servants and handmaids. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. So the same way we were under their captive, man. We was their captives. Hey, we're going to take them captive. It says, and they shall rule over their oppressors, man. Because the same way we getting oppressed by our oppressors now, and we're going to rule over our oppressors, man. We're going to be their oppressing nation, man. We're going to be the, those ruling over them the same way they rule over us. Verse 3, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. So the Lord gonna give us a rest from that hard bondage, man, and from being in fear of these different nations, the things that the things that could happen to us, being in the captivity that we in, man. The things that we subject to, and from our sorrow, man. Like He told you in Jeremiah, He gonna heal us of our wounds, man. And that's part of that healing of our wounds. Because we still in the captivity today, man. That's why we can't wait for these future prophecies to pass, man. We can't wait to get out of this captivity, man. That's why we pushing and seeking to be a part of that number. To get up out of here, to be the ones to raise Israel up out of here, man. We'll just close it out with this. Cause like I said before, we still in captivity, man. We still subject to these things. That's why we hoping and praying. When the time comes, we can't wait to get up out of here to escape the judgment, man. But this, dang, it's a lot. I guess I'll just grab it right here. I just want to finish it out with Baruch 3 and 8. And this will be the book of Baruch 3 and Salaki. Let's see, Baruch 3 and 8. Salaki, this is the book of Baruch, chapter 3 and 8. And it reads, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, Let's just get that captivity. Yeah, we got captivity. Well, no, we didn't. This is the definition of captivity real quick. It says the condition of being in prison or confined, So we being confined to the ways of the society. We being confined under Esau Edom, man. Same way we was confined under the Egyptians, man. Like I read to you earlier, the same way we confined now under the so-called white man, in that imprisonment. Baruch 3 and 8 again, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us, because we scattered abroad, man. Even though, we in all these different places, we still in captivity, man. It says for a reproach and a curse, like I told you earlier, we under these curses. It says, and to be subject to payments according to all thy iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our God, Because, hey, we in this condition now. Like I said earlier, we in these conditions and on this captivity because we didn't want to listen to the Lord, that God, man, for all our iniquities, man, for being that stiff-necked and hard-headed people, man, that hard-necked people, man, and didn't want to, take counsel of the Lord, man, So, Lord willing, this was edifying, man. Like I said, and I'm just finishing off giving our praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Hashem, Rakakodash. And again, double honor to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone. Shalom to the whole elect.